to find the reverberation time, what we had done is we have made some assumptions. What are the assumptions? The first assumption is constant rate of production of sound energy. The second assumption is there is no interference that is happening inside the room. Third one is there is no absorption of sound energy by air. And the fourth one is absorption coefficient is independent of intensity. Those were the four assumptions. The first is the constant rate of production of sound energy. The second one is no interference of sound waves. Third one is absorption coefficient is considered to be independent of sound intensity and no absorption of sound energy by air. So these are the four assumptions Sabine had made to derive his famous reverberation formula. And for deriving the Sabine's formula, we considered E as sound energy density present per unit volume. We have considered a Hall of volume V, and we have constructed a small surface. Then we have extended the surface into volume. We found out what is the volume of this small element dV. Then we had found out what is the energy that is present in this volume element dV. Then that energy was considered to be radiating in all directions. So we had found out what is the energy that is directed per unit solid angle, right? Not in all directions, per unit solid angle we had found out. Now we need to find what is the amount of energy that this dV is radiating towards this ds, right? So for that we need to find what is the solid angle subtended by the surface onto this volume dV, right? We already know what is the amount of energy that is given out by this volume element dV per unit solid angle, right? If we are able to find what is the angle that is subtended by the surface onto this volume element, first we will be able to find what is the amount of energy
surface area,
that is given
then
out
we
through that
made that
particular
surface to
angle.
move
Through a little angle d phi to the normal. We found out what is the distance that is moved, that is equal to r sine theta into d phi. We multiplied this distance with the surface area to get the volume of this small element dV. Then if E is the energy density per unit volume, then energy in the volume dV is equal to E into this volume. So this is the amount of energy that is radiated in 4 pi directions, right? If you consider a sphere, the surface area of the sphere is equal to 4 pi r square. And if you find the solid angle subtended by the whole sphere onto its center, the formula for solid angle is surface area by radius square. So surface area of sphere is 4 pi r square, radius is r square. So r square get cancels. So if you consider this amount of energy, it is radiated in all directions, or I can say it is radiated in 4 pi angle, right? So I need to find what is the energy that is radiated per unit solid angle. So let me divide this equation by 4. I hope we have stopped with this equation number 7. Our next step is to find what is the angle subtended by the small surface ds onto the small volume element dv, right? Let us consider this diagram. See, this is the volume element dv and this is the surface area ds. If you see solid angle, always the surface area will be perpendicular to the radius, right? That is how we'll be finding solid angle. But if you see the orientation of ds here, right, it is not perpendicular, right? It is at an oblique angle, right? This angle is also equal to theta. I hope you know what is theta. Theta is actually this angle, right? This angle is theta. Now, this volume element is subtending an angle to this ds, and that angle is also equal to theta, right? So this angle, see, this is the perpendicular surface, right? But our surface is not perpendicular. It is at an angle of theta to this perpendicular, right? I hope you are understanding it. So whenever we talk of solid angle, if you consider a sphere, if you consider a small surface on the sphere, the surface on the sphere will be always perpendicular to the radius, right? That is where we are putting the formula surface area by radius square, right? But here the surface area under consideration is not perpendicular to the radius vector, right? But it is at an oblique angle. So we need to construct a perpendicular surface, not this surface. We have to construct a perpendicular surface so that this surface is perpendicular to the radius. And another thing is, we have to express this area ds in terms of this surface, right? Why we are constructing this surface? Because we'll be able to calculate solid angle only when if the surface is perpendicular to the radius, right? Here the surface, our surface under consideration is not perpendicular, but it is at an oblique angle to the perpendicular, right? So we are constructing a circle and we need to express this area in terms of this thing. Solid angle subtended by ds at the volume element dv is given by d omega is equal to surface area of this KL divided by r square. But since KL is oblique, we have to take this ML, right? So this we need to find what is this solid angle, right? So this solid angle d omega, the formula for solid angle is surface area divided by radius square. So surface area here is, we cannot consider this surface, we have to consider only this surface. So area of ML divided by r square. So d omega is equal to area of ML divided by r square. You just take this triangle now, this K, L and M. This is your theta. This will be exactly 90 degrees, right? This is radius. So this is, we have drawn a perpendicular angle, I mean perpendicular surface area. So this should be exactly 90 degrees. So this will be hypotenuse. This is your opposite side and ML is your adjacent side. So from this triangle K, L and M, we can write cos theta is equal to adjacent side by hypotenuse. Please remember, this is your angle. So Km is the opposite side. This is 90 degree. So this KL is your hypotenuse and the remaining side ML constitutes your adjacent side, right? So from the triangle KLM, cos theta is equal to adjacent side by hypotenuse. Adjacent side is ML divided by hypotenuse is KL, right? So cos theta is equal to ML by KL, or ML is equal to KL into cos theta, right? ML is equal to KL into cos theta. So since the area of KL is ds, right? Area of ML is equal to ds into cos theta. Is that so? Area of ML is equal to, instead of KL, since this KL is equal to ds, I mean the area around this KL is equal to ds, we are taking area of ML is equal to ds into cos theta, right? So area of ML is equal to how much? ds into cos theta, right? Area of ML is not ds. ds is the area of KL. Now we are going to represent this KL in terms of ML. So now the area of ML is equal to ds into cos theta, right? ds into cos theta. So substituting in the solid angle, d omega is equal to area of ML is now calculated as ds cos theta. So d omega is equal to ds cos theta divided by r square. Let it be equation number 8. So what your equation number 8 tells you is, it is the angle subtended by this volume element onto the small surface element of area ds, right? So this equation gives you what is the amount of energy that is given out by the small volume element per unit solid angle, right? But we don't have unit solid angle. Now the solid angle is equal to this much, right? So for this much amount of solid angle, the sound energy that is given out by this volume element is given by this energy per unit solid angle into that solid angle. Right? Let me tell you one more time. This is the amount of energy radiated by the small volume element dV per unit solid angle, right? But the solid angle that is subtended by the surface area onto the volume element is d omega, right? For unit solid angle, this is the amount of energy that is radiated. For d omega amount of solid angle, the energy radiated from dV will be equal to this equation 7 into d omega, right? The d omega is given by equation number 8. So you have sound energy reaching ds from the volume element dV, that is given by, this is the sound energy per unit solid angle, and this is the solid angle that is subtended by the surface area onto the volume element, right? So let us rearrange the terms. This E, this ds and this 4 pi is written here. E ds by 4 pi into this dr, right? Then sine theta, cos theta, this d theta, and then this d phi, right? This is your equation number 9. So equation number 9 gives you what is the amount of sound energy radiated by dv to the element ds, right? What is our next step? We need to find, I have already told you that the room is made up of large number of such kind of elements, right? If you construct large number of small volume elements like this, you will be getting the entire volume of the hall, right? So if I integrate this equation, right, within three limits, I'll be getting what is the amount of energy that is given out by the whole volume of the hall onto the volume element, onto the surface element ds, right? Now, this is the amount of energy ds is receiving from the small volume element dv, right? Now, I need to add all such dv's in the volume of the hall so that I am going to find what is the amount of energy that is given out by the whole volume of the hall onto this small surface element ds, right? So I need to integrate this equation number 9. So total energy received by the element ds per second is given by, right, in 1 second, what is the amount of energy received by ds by whole of the volume of the hall, right? So this E is constant, that is energy density. ds is surface area, this is also constant. This 4 pi is an integer, so we'll take this EDS by 4 pi outside. Now there are three things to get integrated. One is the distance, right? R. What is R? R is radius, right? So I can change the radius. See, let me move on to the diagram again. See, there are three variables here. One is the distance r, right? The distance, I can keep the radius from this point to the whole volume of the hall, right? I can change the distance, that is radius. The second thing is I can change the angle, that is theta, right? I can consider this arc anywhere inside the semicircle, right? So if I change theta, I can change the position of this arc, right? And the third thing is this d phi, right? So there are three variables here. One is the distance r, second is the angle theta, and third is the angle d phi, right? How I can change r? You know, velocity is equal to distance by time. We are going to find energy that is received per second. So I can take time as 1 second. So velocity is equal to distance, right? Velocity is equal to distance. What is the maximum velocity it can go is c, right? It should be v, the velocity should be v, but since we have the volume of the hall is also v, let us take it as c, right? Generally c represents velocity of light, but here for convenience we are taking velocity of sound as c, right? Now what is the limit that this distance can be moved from? The distance can be varied from 0 to c, right? How come you are getting c? This radius can be changed from 0 value. What is the maximum value of the distance? From the formula, velocity is equal to distance by time. Since time is equal to 1 second, velocity is equal to distance, or distance is equal to velocity. Since we are taking velocity of sound as c, this r can be varied from 0 to c. And what is the value of this theta? Theta can be varied from, I can take this line to be here along with normal. So theta will be equal to 0. If I change the value of this, if I change the position of this r, I mean, I can, the maximum thing I can do is I can make the line to go up to this plane wall, right? So what is the angle? It will be equal to 90 degree, right? So theta can be varied from 0 to 90 degrees. And what is the value for d phi? D phi can be rotated around this normal, right? See, this is one surface. This is one surface. I have taken this surface a little above, right? Likewise, I can make this d phi to go from 0 to the whole complete rotation, right? So let us move on to the integration again. See, to find the total amount of energy received by ds per second through the, I mean, from the whole volume of the hall V, I can take this EDS by 4 pi as constant. I can give the limits, I can integrate this dr within the limits 0 to c, and the theta can be varied from 0 to pi by 2, and d phi can be varied from 0 to 2 pi, right? If I can vary this d phi for the whole circle, I'll be having the volume that is tracing out the whole volume, right? So I can vary this d phi as 0 to 2 pi, and theta as 0 to pi by 2, and dr as 0 to c. So what happens? EDS by 4 pi. If I integrate dr, it will become r. If I put r, the upper limit, that is c. C minus 0, that will be equal to c, right? If I integrate this dr, I'll be getting only r. If I substitute the limit, then upper limit minus lower limit, c minus 0, that will be c. So EDS by 4 pi. Instead of this 0 to c dr, we have c into integral 0 to pi by 2, this sine theta, this cos theta, this d theta. If you integrate d phi, you will be getting phi. If you substitute the limit 2 pi minus 0, that will be equal to 2 pi. Right? So let me take this 2 pi to this side. So this 2 pi and this 4 pi get cancels. So I'll be left with only 2, and this EDSC. Now I am multiplying and dividing this term by 2, right? I am multiplying and dividing this term by 2. So that divided 2 is taken out of the integral, this 0 to pi by 2. This is the 2 which is multiplied, 2 sine theta cos theta d theta, right? We already know 2 sine theta cos theta can be written as sine 2 theta, right? There is a trigonometric formula which says 2 sine theta cos theta is equal to sine 2 theta, right? So this 2 and 2 can be written here, EDSC by 4 into integral the 0 to pi by 2. 2 sine theta cos theta can be written as sine 2 theta d theta, that is equal to EDSC by 4 into, if I integrate sine 2 theta, I'll be getting minus cos 2 theta by 2. Right? If sine 2 theta is integrated, we'll get minus cos 2 theta by 2. These are the limits. EDSC by 4 minus cos 2 theta by 2, 0 to pi by 2. So that EDSC by 4 minus cos 2 instead of theta, the upper limit is equal to pi by 2. So cos 2 pi by 2 minus lower limit is 0. So minus cos 2 0. Right? This minus is taken out. This minus is upper limit minus lower limit, right? 2. So again EDSC by 4. This minus, this 2 and 2 get cancels. So you have cos pi minus 2 into 0 is 0, minus cos 0 by 2. This EDSC by 4 is written as it is. This minus is also kept as it is. The value for cos pi is, cos 0 is 1, cos pi is minus 1, right? So minus 1, and again cos 0 is 1. So this minus is here. So minus 1 divided by 2. This becomes minus 2. Minus 2 into minus is plus 2. So 2 by 2 is equal to 1. So this is the amount of energy received by ds from the whole volume per unit time. Equation number 10 gives the amount of energy received by the small area. Equation number 10 gives the amount of energy received by the small area ds on the plane wall AB. Equation number 10 gives the amount of energy received by the small area ds on the plane wall AB per second from the volume capital V. From the total volume of the hall capital V. Now, see what is the next step we need to do. We have found what is the amount of that is incident on ds. Now we need to find what is the amount of energy absorbed by ds, right? Not all the energy incident on ds should be absorbed, right? We need to find what is the amount of energy absorbed by ds. For that, let us consider A be the absorption coefficient, small a be the absorption coefficient of the wall AB. So absorption coefficient is defined as the ratio of sound energy absorbed to total sound energy that is incident. This equation number 10 gives you amount of sound energy that is incident on the surface. So A is equal to sound energy absorbed by sound energy incident. The sound energy absorbed by the element ds per second is then sound energy absorbed by the element ds per second is, if you want to have this energy absorbed, you need to take this energy incident to the other side, right? So we have energy incident is EDSE by 4, absorption coefficient is A. So sound energy absorbed will be equal to EDSE A by 4. EDSE A by 4 is the total amount of energy absorbed by the surface ds, right? So ds alone absorbs this amount of energy. Now what we need to do is we need to find what is the amount of energy absorbed by all the surface area of all the walls, floor, ceiling, etc. Right? Now we need to add up this ds, right? If you consider this plane wall, see, your room is having four walls, one floor and one ceiling. We have considered only one plane wall. Even in that plane wall, we have considered only a small area ds. Right? This wall AB is made up of large number of such areas, and the room is made up of four walls, one ceiling and one floor. Right? So we need to add up all the ds that makes up the walls, floor and ceiling. Right? Now we need to add up this ds, right? So summation of ds is given by, so what is our next aim? We need to find what is the total amount of energy absorbed by all the materials of the wall, right? I mean, what is the total sound energy absorbed by all the walls inside the hall, right? So E, this C is written as it is. Instead of ds we have summation ds, right? What the summation ds will give you? Ds is the small surface element. The summation of ds represents all the four walls, ceiling and floor that is present inside the empty hall, right? So E into C into integral summation of ds into this A divided by 4. What is the summation of ds? Summation of ds is nothing but the surface, total surface area, that is total absorption is given by summation of ds into A. The summation of ds represents all the walls, floor and ceiling. This A is the absorption coefficient. We know the product of surface area into absorption coefficient is total absorption, right? So we can replace the summation ds into A by capital A. So it will become ECA by 4. Let it be equation number 12. What is this ECA by 4? This is the total amount of energy absorbed by all the walls, floor, ceiling, everything that is present inside the empty hall. Right? So whenever sound is produced inside the empty hall, these walls, floor, ceiling will also absorb energy. Right? So this is the total amount of energy absorbed by all the surfaces inside the empty hall. Growth of sound energy. So what is the volume of our hall? V is the volume of the hall. The total sound energy in the hall will be equal to, what is this E? What is energy density? Energy density is the energy present per unit volume, right? For a unit volume, the energy present is equal to capital E, right? So what is the total energy present in the volume V? It will be equal to E into V. This is the amount of sound energy that is present. If you want to find the rate of growth of this energy, you need to differentiate with respect to time, right? So differentiating this EV with respect to time, rate of growth of sound energy, we have already seen that if the word rate of comes on, the thing is differentiated with respect to time, right? So rate of growth of sound energy, this is the amount of sound energy. Rate of growth of this sound energy is given by d by dt of E into V, right? That is equal to, again UV method of differentiation is used here. The V is kept as it is, dE by dt, plus now E is kept as it is, dV by dt. This dV by dt represents rate of change of volume of the hall, right? But it is very absurd. Volume of the hall never changes, right? It is a constant. So this term will become 0. So this term becomes 0 and the total second term totally becomes 0. So we are left with d by dt of E into V is equal to V into dE by dt. Let it be equation number. Rate of growth of sound energy is equal to rate of energy supplied by the source minus rate of energy absorbed by all the surfaces in the hall. right? You cannot write it as all the materials because we are considering an empty hall, right? So please change this one to rate of energy absorbed by all surfaces in the hall. So rate of growth of sound energy is equal to rate of energy supplied by source minus rate of energy absorbed by all the materials in the hall. We had found out this rate of energy absorbed by all the materials in the hall, right? What is that equation? That is equal to ECA by 4, right? What is this ECA by 4? It is the total sound energy absorbed per second. That is rate of absorption of energy by the, here also it should not be material, it should be surfaces of the wall, right? So if this is rate of growth of energy, right? Rate of growth of energy, we have found d by dt of EV is equal to V into dE by dt. So rate of growth of energy, V into dE by dt is equal to P. This is the power output of the source, right? Let P be the power output of the source. So rate at which energy is supplied by the source is equal to P, right? So P minus, this is the total energy absorbed by the wall per second, right? So ECA by 4. Let it be. See, whenever sound is produced, we have two axes, right? This axis is time and this axis is energy, or I can take it as intensity. When you produce sound, the sound will not suddenly go to maximum amplitude, but it will slowly rise to the maximum amplitude. It will remain constant for some time. When you switch the source, then it will not suddenly come to zero, but it will take some time to come to zero, right? So this time, right, the time up to this time, you call it as growth time, and this time you call it as decay time. Can you understand what I'm saying? This happens when you switch on the power source, right? When you switch on the power source, P will start to rise, energy will start to rise, and this is called steady state, right? What this thing you call it as steady state. Why you are calling it as steady state? So this thing you call it as a steady state, right? Why you are calling it a steady state? Because here this energy remains constant with respect to time. So you are saying this as a steady state. So during the steady state, energy will not change with respect to time, right? So dE by dt will be equal to 0, right? So dE by dt will be equal to 0. So at steady state, this dE by dt will be equal to 0, right? Let us substitute this value. At steady state, dE by dt is equal to 0. Substituting dE by dt equal to 0, this equation becomes 0. So we have P is equal to ECA by 4, right? P is equal to ECA by 4. And another thing at steady state is dE by dt is equal to 0 as well as E is equal to E maximum, right? See, this is the maximum energy. Can you understand what I'm saying? See, this is the maximum energy, right? I mean, this one. This is the maximum energy. So at steady state, I can write this E as equal to E max, right? This is equal to E max. So at steady state, dE by dt is equal to 0 and E is equal to E max. So let me substitute it over here. So dE by dt is equal to 0 and I need to substitute E as E max, right? It is the maximum energy. So what happens is P is equal to EMCA by 4, or I can write EM is equal to 4P by CA. Let it be equation number 15. EM is equal to 4P by CA. Let it be equation number 15. Now let us again move on to the same equation number 14, right? So in this 14, this V is taken to the other side. So we have dE by dt is equal to, you leave off this equation number 14, we'll be using it later. You try to remember E maximum is equal to 4P by CA, right? You please try to remember this equation. E maximum is equal to 4P by CA. Now let us forget this equation number 15. Let us move on to equation number 14. Let us find what is the value for dE by dt. For that, we need to take this V to the other side. So dE by dt is equal to P by V minus ECA by 4V, right? P by V minus ECA by 4V. So let us take the CA by 4V is equal to alpha, right? You come to this side. Let us take the CA by 4V is equal to alpha. So this equation becomes dE by dt is equal to P by V minus E into alpha, right? Now let us multiply and divide this first term by alpha. That is equal to P into alpha divided by V into alpha minus E into alpha. Now let us substitute the value for this alpha, right? We know already we have substituted alpha is equal to Ca by 4V. So if I substitute for alpha, I have Ca by 4V. This 4V can be taken to the numerator. That gives you this equation, right? dE by dt is equal to this 4V into this P alpha divided by the CAV minus alpha into 15B. So you keep this one as 15A. Now you are taking this alpha E to the other side. So dE by dt plus this alpha into E is equal to 4P alpha. This V and V get cancels. So 4P alpha divided by C into A. Let it be equation number 15.